Have you ever wondered if the food on your plate is slowly killing you? It might sound extreme, but the connection between what we eat and our health is clearer than ever. And here's a shocking fact. Ultra-processed foods now make up 57.9% of the American diet, and they are directly linked to the rise in chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. Think about it. These are the foods filling our grocery store aisles, from chips, sodas, and sugary cereals to frozen dinners and candy bars. But what if the biggest problem isn't just what we're eating, but the fact that the industries behind these foods, and even some healthcare solutions, are profiting from us being sick? In this video, we'll explore how the food industry and Big Pharma are working together in ways you might not expect. It's not just about poor food choices or even the lack of willpower. It's a system designed to keep you dependent on both unhealthy foods and the medications needed afterwards. So is the food industry really killing us? Let's break it down and uncover the truth. Let's start with the rise of ultra-processed foods. Products that are more lab experiment than real food. These heavily modified items contain artificial flavors, preservatives, added sugars, and ingredients you'd never find in a typical kitchen. From sodas and frozen pizzas to packaged snacks, these products now make up nearly 60% of the American diet. Here's where it gets even more concerning. A study by the National Institutes of Health found that people who ate ultra-processed foods consumed 500 more calories per day than those who ate minimally processed diets, even though the nutrient composition, which is carbs, fats, and proteins, was matched in both diets. Why? These foods are engineered to be hyper-palatable, designed to make you crave more. And this isn't accidental. Food companies spend billions crafting products that bypass natural satiety signals, leading to overeating. These foods are metabolically destructive, pushing our bodies towards insulin resistance, weight gain, and inflammation. And it's not just individual health that's at risk. Chronic diseases linked to UPFs, like diabetes and heart disease, now account for 678,000 deaths annually in the US, which is more than all combat deaths in American wars combined. The reality is, ultra-processed foods are cheap, easy to market, and highly addictive. This has made them a staple in the modern diet, but at an enormous cost to our health. Now let's shift focus to Big Pharma, an industry that profits massively from the health problems processed food creates. Here's where it gets more troubling. While ultra-processed foods fuel chronic diseases, the pharmaceutical industry is ready with a pill for every symptom, creating a perfect cycle of sickness and profit. Chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, which are often linked to poor diets, represent a huge market for pharmaceutical companies. Drugs like insulin and statins, used to manage diabetes and cholesterol, generate billions of dollars every year. And in the end, it's really not treating illness. It's more about keeping patients reliant on medications rather than addressing the root cause of these conditions, like their diet and lifestyle choices. This is how the system thrives. The food industry creates products and contributes to illness, and Big Pharma steps in with treatments for the resulting conditions. This isn't a conspiracy of a few bad actors. It's really a structural issue deeply rooted in the economy and policymaking. Take Ozempic, for example. The medication initially developed for diabetes and has now become a blockbuster weight loss drug. This shows how normalized medicating dietary issues has become. But while Ozempic helps control blood sugar, it doesn't address the underlying cause of the metabolic dysfunction, our dependence on ultra-processed foods. Big Pharma's influence extends beyond medication. Industry spends millions on lobbying and funding research, ensuring that the solutions presented to the public are pharmaceutical, not preventative. This keeps public health reactive instead of proactive, treating the consequences of ultra-processed foods instead of addressing the root problem. What makes this situation even more concerning is how deeply the food and pharmaceutical industries influence public policy. These industries have tremendous control over research, government regulations, and even dietary guidelines, allowing them to shape the narrative around health to suit their financial interests. Take the food pyramid. Once promoted as the foundation of healthy eating, it recommended carbohydrates, primarily in the form of grains, as the base diet, while downplaying the risks of sugar and processed foods. This wasn't an accident. Food companies lobbied heavily to ensure their products were integrated into daily dietary guidelines. Big Pharma operates similarly. Pharmaceutical companies spend billions annually on lobbying and political contributions, shaping legislation in their favor. A key victory was allowing direct-to-consumer drug advertising, which is why we constantly see ads urging us to ask our doctor about new medications. Both industries also heavily fund scientific research, leading to biased studies that favor their products. This results in public health recommendations that promote pharmaceuticals and processed foods while downplaying downplaying preventative measures like diet and lifestyle changes. Even government agencies like the FDA and USDA, tasked with integrating public health, are not immune to these pressures. Both agencies have been criticized for being too lenient on food manufacturers, often prioritizing corporate interests over consumer safety. And the result? A system where the true risks of processed foods and over-medication are obscured, keeping the public trapped in cycles of poor health, all while the food and pharmaceutical industries profit. So if the system is built to keep us reliant on unhealthy foods and medications, what's the solution? It's time for a shift from treatment to prevention, a proactive approach that tackles the root causes of chronic disease rather than managing the symptoms with lifelong medications. At the heart of this shift is dietary change. Instead of ultra-processed foods that disrupt metabolic health, we need to focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats. All of the research shows that diets rich in whole foods can dramatically reduce the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. For us, we have all of our clients focus on first, trying to increase the amount of whole foods in their diet, then simply trying to eat more proportionally balanced with the 30-30-30 rule. And for 90% of people, this will get them to all of their health and fitness goals. Education, like this video, is another crucial piece. Most people are still unaware of the harm ultra-processed foods can cause or how to take control of their health. Preventative healthcare education, focusing on nutrition, lifestyle changes, and the dangers of processed foods must become a priority in schools, healthcare settings, and public health campaigns. We also need to deprioritize pharmaceuticals as the first line of defense. While medications have a place in healthcare, they shouldn't be the go-to for conditions that can be prevented or reversed with diet and lifestyle changes. Countries like Denmark and Finland, which tax sugary foods and promote healthier eating, have seen significant drops in obesity and related diseases. Community-driven solutions are also key. Programs like urban farming, community-supported agriculture, and local food cooperatives empower individuals to access fresh, whole foods while building awareness of the industrial food system's harms. In the end, the solution lies in a combined approach: individual action, policy reform, and a cultural shift away from processed foods towards whole, nutrient-rich diets. Prevention, not treatment, is the way forward. So is the food industry killing you? The evidence points to a sobering reality. Ultra-processed foods and the system that supports them are contributing to a public health crisis. The rise in chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and obesity isn't just a matter of personal choices or willpower. It's the result of a food and healthcare system designed to profit from poor health. The food industry continues to push addictive, cheap, and unhealthy products, while Big Pharma profits from the inevitable health consequences. Together, these industries have a firm grip on our public policies, research, and even our perceptions of what it means to be healthy. But this doesn't have to be the future. The solution lies in prevention over treatment. By shifting away from processed foods and focusing on whole, nutrient-dense options, we can reclaim our health. Change is possible. We've seen it in countries that have adopted more aggressive public health measures. And on a personal level, choosing real food over processed options is the most powerful way to break the cycle of illness and dependency. It's time to question the system that profits from our poor health and start making choices that put our well-being first. Your health is in your hands, and it starts with what's on your plate.